Fall 2022 gets off to a dismal start at the box office as Spider-Man: No Way Home takes the top spot again. Back in January of this year, there was a lot of excitement about the success of Jon Watts' Spider-Man: No Way Home, but that excitement was tainted by everything else that was going on at the box office. As the Marvel blockbuster repeatedly claimed the title of #1 movie in America, it was hard not to also notice that the victories were attained against almost zero competition. Now, about 8 months later, we are back to being in that exact same place thanks to the release of Spider-Man: No Way Home's More Fun Stuff cut. If one rewinds the clocks back to 2019 and takes a look at the box office for the first weekend in September, one rediscovers that the winner of the Friday to Sunday battle on the big screen was won by Andy Muschietti's It Chapter 2, which had one of the most successful openings of any horror movie ever. Hype was at high levels thanks to the popularity of the film's predecessor, and the Stephen King adaptation made $91.1 million in 3 days. In 2022, the #1 movie at the box office in that same weekend made approximately 6.5% of that total. A truly brutal ouch. Spider-Man: No Way Home, the More Fun Stuff version, is about 13 minutes longer than the version of the film that was in theaters last December and made available home video in the early months of the year, and Sony Pictures made the call to give the extended cut a wide release in nearly 4,000 locations this past Friday. It clearly didn't turn out to be the fresh win that the studio wanted it to be, as it made an estimated $6 million. For those who want to be saved the trouble of doing the math, that's an average of $1,525 per location, which looks particularly rough when you remember that Spider-Man: No Way Home made $59,995 per location when it first hit theaters back in December. It's Sony's second underwhelming Marvel movie re-release of the year, as you may remember that the studio made the call to put Daniel Espinosa's Morbius back on the big screen in June. That dismal decision resulted in just a $289 per location average. It's not exactly hard to decipher what went wrong here. After Spider-Man: No Way Home hit theaters back in December 2021, it ended up staying in the top 5 at the box office for 13 weeks, and that only happens if there is a strong contingent of fans who are paying to see it multiple times. Since then, the blockbuster has been released digitally and on 4 Kelvin divided by Blu-ray, DVD, and die-hard fans have purchased copies en masse and surely enjoyed it at least one more time in the comfort of their own homes. Spider-Man: No Way Home, the More Fun Stuff version, is technically arriving just a couple months after the original version fully left theaters and after the home video release. With the movie still fresh in audiences' memory, and the knowledge that this new cut will surely be available to watch at home in a few weeks, months, is it any surprise that we didn't see massive crowds going to see it this weekend? Sony has said that the impetus behind the theatrical release of the expanded film was in celebration of Spider-Man's 60th anniversary, as the web slinger first arrived in the pages of Marvel Comics in August 1962. Sadly, these box office results aren't much of a birthday present. Part of the reason why Spider-Man: No Way Home, the Fun Stuff version, was able to win the box office this weekend with a $6 million haul is because the film industry didn't put up much competition against it. It seems that Hollywood figured that everyone would be too busy with the end of summer and the start of the school year to go to the movies. Arcane wins Emmy for Best Animated Program. Netflix's Arcane has become the first streaming show to win an Outstanding Animation Emmy. The win is notable for Netflix as this is the first time that a Netflix show has ever picked up the award. Big Mouth and BoJack Horseman were nominated in the past, but neither brought the honor home. Other contestants for this year's Outstanding Animation Emmy included Bob's Burgers, Rick and Morty, The Simpsons, and What If. 3 of these are recent winners and category regulars, with Rick and Morty winning in 2020 and 2018, The Simpsons in 2019, and Bob's Burgers in 2017. Christian Link, co-creator of Arcane, was in attendance to pick up the award. In his speech, Link thanked the sources of his inspiration for the show. "Thank you for this. It's a big deal for us, as we come from video games. It's been amazing to see the world embrace our characters and our stories, so thanks to Netflix, who believed in us from the beginning, thanks to Riot Games, who worked on the whole IP, and to all the people that have been with our game and League of Legends for the last 12 years or so who helped make it as big as it is now." Other cast members were quick to celebrate the win, including Haley Steinfeld, who plays the voice of Vi in the show. "This is incredible. Congratulations to my Arcane family. So lucky to be part of this show," wrote Steinfeld. The series, which is based on the popular League of Legends video game franchise, was released back in November 2021. Since then it has become one of Netflix's biggest hits to date and holds a rare Rotten Tomatoes rating of 100%. The show follows the origin story of sisters Jinx and Vi as they become separated and then reunited in the twin cities of Piltover and Zaun and battle on rival sides of a war between technological utopia and dystopia. The series was made in partnership with Riot Games and stars Steinfeld, Ella Purnell, Katie Loom, Kevin Alejandro, Shori Agdashlu, and others. The win comes right after Netflix had announced that they are in the midst of producing Season 2, which is set to release at some point in 2023. Riot Games also recently released a limited documentary series about the making of the show called Arcane, Bridging the Rift. In the documentary series, the creators of Arcane give an intimate glimpse into what it's like behind the scenes and reveal exactly how Arcane became one of the most popular and widely discussed shows of 2021. Pearl Ty West's X prequel is a horror tease. Ty West's X is one of 2022's most acclaimed horror movies. It follows a batch of 1970s filmmakers who clandestinely shoot a skin flick in a farmhouse they rented. When the elderly homeowners discover what's going on, they aren't horrified, they're hornified. And when their libidos aren't respected by the young hotties, the bodies start piling up dead. Mia Goth played both the hot new porn ingenue and the old woman, Pearl. It is established in X that Pearl's jealousy of the young women to do what they please with their bodies and their profession is what brings her rage to a fever pitch, because she too had dreams of being a star at their age. X debuted just this past March, but there's already a prequel, Pearl, filmed in secret and announced only after production ended, that may as well be titled Pearl, First Kill. Personally, X's intentions felt hypocritical and ageist. Old people desiring sex was not just the motive for the killing, but also, in the way it was filmed with prolonged takes and excessive makeup. It felt like the audience was supposed to constantly be as equally and gleefully grossed out by elderly sexuality as they were by the intense bloodletting. For a movie that started out as sex-positive, it ended up exclusionary in that approach. I still was interested in Pearl, however, because a prequel would likely remove that angle entirely. Refreshingly, West is attempting a different mood with Pearl, mimicking classic Disney animation moments to show her attempts to be cheerful with an audience of farm animals for her dance routines. Inside the homestead, however, she has an overbearing mother and a father so ill from the Spanish flu that he's confined to a wheelchair and unable to speak. Only his lips sucking and liquid morphine prove that he's still alive. Pearl's cheerfulness also includes feeding animals to the alligator in the marsh behind the house. This, too, is filmed in pastage, with a bright, smiling ode to 1950s sitcoms. It's all done with an exaggerated hilt for most of the film's runtime until Goth delivers a staggering monologue that would rival Rebecca Hall's in Resurrection for length and emotional rawness. It's a thoughtful breaking point in the film that reveals an interest by West to not just make Pearl an odd psycho killer but to grant her confusion at what she's doing, who she's even speaking to, and how stifled she feels by other people making every decision for her. It kicks back into an old-fashioned sitcom-styled ending, but this monologue is the meat of the movie. It helps that Goth has a great scene partner in newcomer Emma Jenkins Purro, who isn't sure how to back away without setting her off. Pearl does end up enhancing X a little bit by essentially chronicling all the shortcomings and repression that drove Pearl mad. But it's not without its own shortcomings. Chiefly, that it isn't remotely scary. West and Goth are mostly interested in applying camp via typical melodrama motifs within a horror film. The bloodshed is sparse, and every kill is telegraphed so far ahead that there's no tension or surprise. Outside of Pearl seeing an old stag film and the aforementioned monologue, the filmmaking is mostly dialed into being a lark. Which brings me back to what I didn't like about X, is the condensation of its characters, who are mostly present for an attempt at scholastic genre filmmaking. But the scholarly pursuit, pornography, and 1950s Hollywood are both low-hanging fruit. Pearl was written while the X set was on quarantine during the height of COVID. It was shot back-to-back. Its plot features lives stalled by both the Spanish flu and World War I. It makes for interesting production notes, but it surely will more so please people who thought X was funny and less those who appreciated the tension and gore. The first film was a love letter to slasher films of yore, and Pearl tries to be many different eras of melodrama, the grin and bear it era and the more recent era of tears for being stuck in the wake of stifling misfortunes. Taken together, it's more interesting as a film thesis than it is as a film product, but at least now it's slightly less ageist. Nope's global box office total crosses $150 million. Even with the domestic box office numbers on a disappointing decline as summer ends, the spectacle of Jordan Peele's extraordinary third film Nope continues to draw crowds to the theaters. This week, the modern horror icon's acclaimed sci-fi thriller surpassed the $150 million worldwide milestone, settling at $159 million at the global box office today. Since the mysterious UFO story hit theaters in late July, genre fans and audiences dedicated to Peele kept it in the limelight, comparing the film to his previous successes including the 2017 hit Get Out and 2019 Seconds Harrowing Us. The director, writer, producer's latest film was killing it in local box offices, and as it started opening up in theaters overseas, the movie's profits naturally increased as the audience for Nope grows. Even with Nope tracking behind the uber success of Peele's previous projects, the mysterious film is still holding its own, even as Top Gun: Maverick dominates the box office and continues breaking records. Nope reunites Daniel Kaluuya with Peele for the first time since his starring role in Get Out. He stars alongside Keke Palmer as the dynamic brother and sister duo, Oj and Em Haywood, who are Hollywood horse trainers that witness a mysterious, yet sinister event that rains down on them from the skies above their ranch and the surrounding town. Things get even more strange and abnormal as they cross paths with the owner of an adjacent Old West theme park and former child star, Ricky Jupe Park, played by Oscar nominee Steven Yeun, who is also witnessing the otherworldly phenomenon. Alongside the main trio of Kaluuya, Palmer, and Yeun, the rest of Nope's all-star ensemble cast includes Michael Wincott, Brandon Perea, Barbie Ferreira, Terry Notary, Donna Mills, Jennifer LaFleur, Sophia Cotto, and Keith David. Produced by Ian Cooper and Peele for Monkapop Productions, Nope has been well received since its July 22 release, currently sitting at a critic rating of 83% on Rotten Tomatoes even as it has become available for VOD. Collider's own Ross Bonham gave the film an A in his review, describing Nope as yet another ingenious tale from Peele. Nope is still in theaters in the United States in addition to its more recent worldwide release.